Recording right now.
There's a big echo going in.
Let's see who might be. Let's talk and see if we hear an echo. Hello.
Not
One,
gone
two.
now. Whatever you did is perfect.
Okay.
Pearl muted herself, and maybe it was Pearl.
Yeah. Pearl in her onesies. Pearl, can you tell us a little bit about your onesies? This is the second onesie I see you in.
Yeah, so my son and I have matching tiger onesies, and we got dressed up in them this morning and went to the park and played like animals.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
That's
right.
super fun. So,
Yes.
all right, do you want me to start and just share about the handwriting and kind of what the program is, or?
Yes, before I'd like to actually get Ophir involved here, because Ophir, when I met him, he had a book in his car. And we went to dinner, me, him, and Tanji. Can you tell Ophir a little bit about that book and your experience?
Yeah, it was interesting. It was a book on graphology. I went and saw this person in Los Angeles. Her name's Andrea McNichol, and she used to teach graphology at UCLA, and she does handwriting analysis. And it was just amazing, the experience and how she utilized handwriting to really analyze people and do it very accurately. So, you know, she gave me as a gift that book, and Fernando saw it in my car, and we just started talking about it. So such an amazing tool to be able to use.
And 30 days later, we're here on a call about graphology.
Yes.
So, you know, there's a reason why, you know, we're here. And so, yes, Misty or Pearl, please lead the call.
Yeah, so I know Susan had said that she had some very exciting experience doing the handwriting, and she had actually mentioned in the group, she's like, hey, did anyone see that interview? Not having any idea that what Fernando and Misty and Will and I were kind of working behind the scenes on it still. So she was resurfacing it. So it's definitely like reverberating in our group from, you know, multiple people. And I did a one-on-one session with Misty. I paid for that name and one sample handwriting page and was just totally blown away. And I'm like, yep, that's right. Oh my gosh, that's me. And like, you know, with my signature, I thought it looked pretty, but, you know, I was crossing my name out and I didn't realize what that was doing. But yeah, no, I'd really love to kind of hear your explanation, Misty, since we're recording. We'll just, you know, do that for the replay for the people.
Yeah, so what I do is I've been studying handwriting analysis and graphology for 10 years now, and your handwriting is a map on paper to how you think. So the reason why you're writing in the specific way that you are is because of the way that the neurological patterns in your brain are wired currently. That can be limiting, that can be advancing, you can have self-sabotages, you can have all different kinds of things that happen when your mindset with what I see on paper. So I always like to look at a person's name. I like to look at a sample of their handwriting, see where their blocked in limits are, and then work with them and guide them into writing in the most beneficial way that serves them. There's a lot more to it than just that though, because every letter has a specific energy and pattern to it. So there's certain letters that are going to cause more movement in the mind than others. There's certain letters that are going to cause you to have certain thinking patterns, certain traits. Every word out there is a code. And once you understand the energy and pattern behind each letter, then you're able to use it in a way that supports you with all of your clients. So you're able to know a lot about a person before you even speak with them, because you're looking at the letters of their name and the energy that they've been working with their entire life. You know, you've been writing your name your entire life. You grew up and writing it in school, signing checks, legal documents, whatever the case may be. You've been writing your name your entire life. So it is very important. And it's a guide and a map to an individual from my perspective and what I can teach with you and share with you as well as doing, intentional writing for a long length period of time, what that's going to do for you and how it's going to shift. So I always tell everyone that if people can go to the gym and work out their body, they can go to a pen and paper and work out their mindset. And you want to write it in a specific way. It's not just handwriting, it's not just penmanship, it's being intentional, because your intention rules your life and determines the outcome. I've shared with people that handwriting is just as detailed as golfing. When you shift your golf swing just a little bit, it makes a world of difference where that ball ends up landing just by the tiniest shift of how you hold your golf swing. Whether you get a hole in one or not, that makes a world of difference. So when you shift your handwriting just a little bit, it makes a world of difference in your mindset and can completely transform your life. And when you're very intentional and you know exactly what you're doing with it, it can become very powerful. So that's a brief explanation of it, and I'm happy to answer questions. I've got PowerPoints that we were going to go over, but this is just more of an introduction. If you ever want us to do a webinar or anything like that, but we've got a whole entire mastery series as well as a 90-day intentional program. So we've got 2 different programs that we're offering, and both of them are very powerful. I had one gentleman go from 8 million to 12 million in a matter of 3 months based on what I was guiding him to do. And he's in the financial industry, so he was taking all the right actions already, but he was limited based on the way he was writing. And then he heard me speak and he said, hey, I want to do this. And within 3 months, he went from 8 million to 12 million.
Awesome.
Yeah. Something that I'd love for you to kind of go deeper on, which was what inspired me to see how the NLP and master practitioner complements the handwriting and vice versa. You had said that basically when someone changes their handwriting, like if it's a map of the unconscious mind, and as they begin the program, like the 90-day program, for instance, some people experience shifts right away, some people it takes longer. But what's happening in the mind when someone starts doing the shifting of their handwriting? Like what's happening subconsciously?
Yeah, so the way that you write is a subconscious graphic representation of the way you think. So when you begin to write consciously, you're consciously choosing to shift and rewire the patterns in the mindset. Sometimes it takes up to 6 weeks for the writing to get into the subconscious. And then it depends on the individual of how much resistance they have to changes or not. And everybody's a little bit different based on what their past is. But when you're writing and when you're choosing to consciously write, I had a woman sign up about a month ago, and within the first week, she was already recognizing shifts from realizing different things with her mother, different things with her sister, different patterns that played out with her ex-husband. And what she was recognizing is that the patterns that were showing up, everything was kind of shifting and changing, and she was having emotional breakthroughs. And so what I shared with her is that when you change your handwriting, the way your life is right now is connected to your entire past. So all of your emotions are connected to that current way of writing. So when you begin to write in a new way, it kind of unlocks all of your emotions that are unsolved, and those come bubbling up to the surface to be healed. So it is a lot of emotional work as well as physical writing. There's a lot more to it. If I just shared with you how to write, if you give it to a child that's 5, they don't have all the emotions in their entire life experience written in that way. So it would be a lot easier and different for somebody who doesn't have an entire past than somebody who does. So is that kind of the answer you were looking for?
Yeah, it does. You touched on it a lot. So, as you're changing your handwriting, because there's a lot of resistance and blocks, like old traumas and stuff can come up and other emotions. So it's kind of like a reset of your map is kind of the way that I was interpreting what you were saying. So it's like a reset. So I think with MER, mental and emotional release breakthroughs, you know, we have it's very direct and also indirect, and your approach seems indirect as well. And so I see them both in tandem, like as hi, thank you. As trauma is surfacing when you're just doing the handwriting, you know, it can happen anytime, right? It's like you'll just be doing something and it'll come up. And so, you know, we could use MER techniques when those things happen. And so, yeah.
Yeah, because I have two different things that were really big in my life. Is one, my grandma was abused as a child. She was born a girl and they were hoping for a boy and she couldn't help out on the family farm. And so that abuse showed up on paper. And then what I've shared with people over the years is that because that abuse showed up on paper and I could physically see it on paper, if she would have began to consciously write in a different way, it would have released the trauma, allowed it to be healed, and then she would have been able to get past it. Some people have resistance, and so this is a different way for you to work through the trauma and the experience. And so with my grandma, she's 80 and she's going blind and she's in a nursing home, so she wasn't able to, you know, go through that, but she wrote in that way her entire adult life. So I looked at 50, 60 years of handwriting and I thought, oh my gosh, if she would have been able to have had these tools, this could have prevented her from experiencing trauma over and over and over again. So for me, I, as her granddaughter, began to write very similarly to her, but I didn't take on the trauma. I didn't experience the trauma that she did. So because I didn't experience it, but I was around her, I adopted those thought patterns. It became generational patterns that I picked up that wasn't mine. But then I began to write in the way she did. So then when I changed my handwriting, I cleared the generational patterns that were holding me back. And then I was able to advance and launch forward in life and stop being blocked like she was and stop attracting certain negative experiences that she did. So, and the other thing that I always like to share with people is the reason why I discovered this is because my last name was Cogdill. And then when I got married in my 20s, my last name changed to Cook. And it took about a year for me to recognize that my last name had a major impact on my personality. And I started showing up as a different person and experiencing life differently as a different person once I became Misty Cook, then Misty Cogdill. And so about a year into marriage, I started asking people, I said, hey, what happened? I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't understand why I was so different. And it was the last name change that changed me, but I didn't know that. Nobody had any answers and I didn't have any answers either. I was just a person experiencing life differently and I didn't understand why. And so I was asking all kinds of people and everybody confirmed, yes, you are different. And I said, yeah, I know, but I don't know why. What happened that caused me to change? And so being left in the dark and trying to figure it out for 5 years, when the divorce happened and I got my maiden name back, I got my old personality back. But again, it took about a year for me to recognize because nobody was sitting there guiding me and pointing this out and saying, hey, this is what's going to happen. That's why having a coach is so helpful, is because, you know, you obviously you have awareness of it. And so when I figured it out and I put the puzzle pieces together that it was the handwriting and the name change, I became fascinated by it and have spent the last decade studying it very intently. And then I've taken a lot of what I've learned from other mentors and I've tested it. And some of what I've been taught I've experienced as truth, and some of it I've learned that it's different. So I've taken a lot of my own wisdom and applied what I have in my program.
Any questions? Susan, welcome. And Misty, it's amazing to hear your story and what you've been able to do in your life. And now that you're partnering with Will, and he being the powerhouse that he is. When I first heard about you and him working together, I thought this would be great for master pracs to implement as part of their daily habits, and also for as a stick mechanism for the breakthrough sessions that we learn to do. Breakthrough sessions usually last 7 hours, either 1 day or 2 or 3 days, and a lot happens. And usually those people, they go to the same old house, the same family, the same significant other. So if this could be something that, the way I saw it, to help the new person to be congruent in old environments. Will, what say you, my friend? What would you like to share based on what has been talked about so far?
Yeah, so my experience with the handwriting, I'm on, what am I on, 38 days today, I think, something like that. And so obviously my background is I was a bartender for many years. I wanted to get rich. I went out and learned real estate investing, taught me how to do real estate investing. I used to go by the name Bill. Made millions of dollars in real estate, went out with my seminar company, made millions of dollars in my seminar company, and then changed my name from Bill to Willpower, which seems like it'd be a good thing to do. And my income dramatically dropped. And I said, what is going on? So I met Misty, and she has shared with me the reasons why on the paper, the way I wrote, the way I used to write, because the public school system teaches us to write the way it teaches us to write. My penmanship was horrible, even though it has nothing to do with penmanship. And so now my penmanship is amazing. And now that I've been writing newly only for 38 days, I have way more clarity of mind. I've changed my business, what I'm about to do. It's still going to be willpower, but it's going to be willpower breakthroughs for reasons that are way more long explained than this call can allot for. I know I have way more clarity of mind. I know it's working, and she's got 10 years experience with the writing. I've got about 25 years experience as a real estate investment trainer, public speaker trainer. I train people how to create funnels, etc. I partner with Misty because of what I believe in this tremendously. In fact, I've got some new information from Misty she doesn't even know about yet, about how to get this into the public school system. And I got to share with her one possibility I'll do after this call or tomorrow, which, by the way, Misty, I love your hair the way you did it today. Awesome.
Oh,
I didn't
thanks.
mention that. It looks great. Keep it up. And so another thing that happened with my daughter. My daughter's Mackenzie. I named her Mackenzie Ryan Duquette, and she changed her name from Mackenzie to Kenzie. Not changed it, but started speaking it and saying Kenzie. Well, my daughter shifted. She used to be super loving, super happy, super just a great person. Well, she's a beautiful person, anyways, of course. But she had challenges in her life. She just was defensive and just a rebel and just bucking the system and angry. And now you remember she's come to my personal development seminars. I've been doing personal development seminars for almost 20 years now. So she knows, right? It's one thing to know like this, right? You're an NLP practitioner. I'm a hypnotist. I do one-on-one hypnotherapy sessions. I do personal development seminars. I do stage hypnosis shows. Very much understand the power of our minds. And when I met Misty and she shared me what this, I said, this is going to be the closed loop. It's going to fulfill the entire encompassed and enlightened life, and to literally write your future and understand why, if you change your name or not, why things are happening for you, why they're sharing, why the challenges are happening. And my daughter has no less than, in the last probably, I don't know, 3 years or so, 4 years maybe, probably no less than 25 to 30 times has told me that she wanted to kill herself. Now, before you guys grasp too much, I mean, it is what it is. I'm a personal development coach. I manage it as well as I could. I didn't give a whole lot of energy to it. Give her some new directions, and yet there's just challenges. So I've been trying everything with her. So Misty comes along, and I said, okay, Misty, here's my daughter's signature. What can she do? She helped. She does a reading. She can share with you where your stucknesses are, where your blocks are. And by the way, y'all have them. If you don't think you do, that's a block right there. In fact, especially because the public school system has taught us 80% of the time, when you're writing the actual letters, that is actually what is forming your future. It's forming your neural pathways in your brain. It's forming your subconscious programming. All of that is happening. And it does. We did studies, and when I speak, I'm all about the power of our words. I'm a hypnotist, as NLP practitioners, you all should know that. What you think about and you speak about, you'll bring about. And so those things you speak are very, very powerful. Words are the most powerful things in the universe. And words that you write are even more powerful, to the tune of 85 to 95. I think, Misty, was the scientific proof that 85 to 95% of our brain cells are used and ignited when we write, and 10 to 15% when we speak, which just lends credibility to, not to mention, and most people don't even write anymore. We're typing. So that's even more challenging. So the last time you wrote, and if you don't write anymore, well, that's what you're told your last subconscious programming what it's going to be, and if you're speaking something differently. So my daughter, of course, resisted this, said, this is a scam. I said, how can it be a scam, honey? We didn't charge you nothing. Just do the thing in writing, right? So she resisted it. So I talked to Misty. I said, hey, how can we make this easier for people like that are going to be resistant, right? And so I said, can you do some kind of an outline, a trace where you can literally just trace it, not have to actually use too much brain power here. You know, people are very resistant, have challenges doing some new things. And my daughter was huge resisting. And I've been trying to help her for years, literally mentor her and get her out of her stucknesses. And I'll tell you, in the last week or two, probably not even, I talk to my daughter she calls me almost every day now. It's amazing. Total different person. She's writing every single day. And first she didn't write. And I said, look, can we do this soon where we can have it printed out? So we printed out this one page that my daughter has to write every single day. And she just documents it for every single day, what she has to write, how to write it. And I'm not joking, within 1 week, actually probably a couple of days, she shifted, because she went from rebel. And the reason why is because K is either a leader or a rebel. And she was being the rebel side of it. Every letter has a negative and a positive. And she started writing differently, and she is now literally about to get promotions in her job. Like they're saying, like she's just shifted. I mean, 180 degrees, like a different human being, like really just loving life, optimistic, positive. And this has all happened within about a week. And that's how long she's been writing consistently. Because I said, look, I'm going to print these pieces of paper out. They're all printed out. All you got to do is just once a day, write them down and see what happens. And if it's a scam, who cares? It ain't hurting nothing if you do this. Well, she's a believer now. I'm definitely a believer. And so the power behind this, the science behind this is not airy-fairy. This is not we think it will work. This is absolutely scientifically proven. I've actually experienced it. I have more clarity of mind now than I've ever had in a long time. And the fact that I'm shifting my brand from willpower breakthroughs, one word instead of two words, W and P being a capital was a challenge there for my initials and my name. And Misty's a master at knowing what is best for you, for your business, if you want to do it. To your child, if you're going to have a kid, you want to name your child, well, she'll tell you what the exact names, at least the letters you should use to amplify. Because what this does is it amplifies and a boost who you already are, what you're already doing. That's why the guy went from 8 million to 12 million. Right. And so if you're already starting to do some certain things, this will just amplify whatever it is that you're up to in an amazing way. And what I love about it, it's 3 to 5 minutes a day. I mean, I have it with me. I'm on vacation right now, so I apologize. I'm actually traveling. I'm in Daytona, literally standing outside a wing house while my girlfriend, her husband, her son is in there eating some wings, which I can't wait to get in there. And so I apologize for this, but I brought him the words with me, right? Misty says, you get to write your words. Yeah, I bring them with me. Like, I will write every single day for the rest of my life until I die. And if you don't, you're a fool, flat out. I'll just tell you, right? You're an idiot, because I have people pitch me all the time. I've mentored Kevin Harrington to do his first sales pitch from stage. I've mentored Les Brown. I've been all over the world. I've spoken in front of 16,000 people in a O2 arena. Like, my credibility and as you know, Fernando, you gave me great credibility, and I love that. I'm a stand for other people's greatness. Like, I know how amazing everyone is. I've been taught and seen and pitched and learned and discovered and spent well over $500,000-$600,000 on my own education. And I've never seen nothing like this ever before. I've never seen, like Misty, she's done it the last 3 or 4 times in a row. She just did some readings. She'll just take your signature, take your printed name, and she'll literally tell you where your blocks are. And I have people that I do this with her who she's never met. People from the gym. Go ahead and sign your name. I come back. I said, how close with that? The guy says, 100%, right on, spot on. How can I work with her? Right? It's a no-brainer just to go do this. She's the master at it, and it's why I partnered with her on this, because we are going to bring this mainstream. I plan to bring it to the public school system with her. I plan to have everybody in the world writing, because it will literally unblock you in ways that you don't even know you're blocked, and in a very easy way. Like, I don't have to study people and have long conversations with them. Like when I do a hypnotherapy session, I got an hour and a half conversation before I do a trance session with them, typically, to really get in there what's actually happening. She doesn't even have to do that. She can look at your writing and see it right there in print. So it's an amazing additional tool to whatever you're already up to. Just add it to your tool belt and just become that much more amazing for your own personal life. And if you want to bring it in and actually be an affiliate of ours to bring it to your people, to expose them to that as well, we'll actually have an affiliate program we're creating as well. So this is brand new, the packages we're building. And what I saw for Fernando when I spoke with him about this a week or so ago was, I want all of you to do it. Like, I think you have about 40 people in your group. I have I can't even count how many people I've helped become millionaires. I want to do this with all of you. I want you all to sign up. I want you all to at least get on the writing programs, if not the mastery series, and allow me to come in and help with Misty to take all of you to an entire level you don't even know exists yet. You just like just bring you there quickly. Not only with her writing, but also what I can teach you about business, what I can teach you about yourself, what I can teach you about taking action, what I can teach you about confidence, what I can teach you about like things that you bring you to levels you just have never been before. Like, that's my commitment. And I talked to Misty about it and what we want to do, if you all want to do this, because this call is about, are you interested and do you want it? If from there, we'll give you some special pricing because we really want to do it with a group. You people will be the first group we do this with and test. And I want to follow you for an entire year. My commitment is that every single one of you get sign up with us and get on this program. My commitment is, if you want to become a millionaire, that's what my commitment is that you become a millionaire in 12 months, 24 months, whatever that takes, whatever it looks like, and help you in any area that it takes, because I want you to be a raving testimonial for us. So that's my 2 cents, so to speak, on here. And I believe wholeheartedly in what she's doing, what she's done. And she absolutely is the master at this. And she's got a huge heart. She's like me. We have huge hearts. We just want to give and give and give and give and give and help change other people's lives as well. And so it's a perfect, partnership that we have here, because I'm all about the power of our words, and she's about the spoken word, and she's a master of the written word. So it just lends perfectly that we both work together.
Thank you, Will. Thank you so much. How about we continue with Misty and everyone else, so you can go and have dinner, enjoy your girlfriend and her son, and then we'll let you know what happened. We want to have this video replay to the people that have not watched.
Yeah.
And then we'll hopefully in maybe 3-4 days have an answer for you of how many people are committed.
Okay, cool. All right, I appreciate that. Thank you guys very much. And I am going to run inside, and whatever we need to do to help you guys. I really, really want to do this with Fernando. Fernando's a great guy. I want to acknowledge you for what you're doing and with the stand that you are. And I'd love to help all these. Where are your people? All over the country, or in different countries? Where are they?
In the U.S. mostly.
Okay, great. Cool.
So Vegas,
I look forward to
California.
meeting them all and helping you all bring your business to a whole new level, whatever that looks like. If it's a speaking, communication, sales funnel, if you got to work with something in yourself about money challenge, whatever it is, I will help you. And me and Misty together can definitely have you just writing and speaking whatever it is you want to create. I promise you that. I'm absolutely positive on that. So thank you very much for having me on the call. Pearl, nice meeting you. And Misty, love your new haircut. Keep it up.
Thank you, Will.
Thank
All right,
you.
take care, everyone. Thank you.
Enjoy dinner.
Bye-bye.
All right, Misty, back to you. Or anyone have any questions? Ellie, Susan, Pearl.
I have something to say, but yeah, Ellie and Susan, if you guys have any questions, just pop in. So that was awesome. I'm like, wow, Will's gonna help us on a personal level, and like we're the first group for your guys' partnership. It's kind of like a beta experience, the mastering the spoken and written word, and that's a pretty awesome guarantee to help us, reach the level that we want to financially too. So just to clarify the next steps for what the offering is, I know, Misty, we were kind of talking about January 1st being the start date for the group. And what do people that are interested in moving forward need to prepare to do before then? They need to meet with you personally, and what needs to happen?
Yeah, I would like to meet with everyone personally so that we can have that conversation, because we're going to be creating a template. We're going to be creating, specific letters, specific signature. I always like to know what people's first name, middle name, last name are, as well as see their signature. So I can see some of their handwriting, kind of have that one-on-one conversation with them, as well as what their first letter of their mother's first name and the first letter of their father's first name, as well as any siblings or children, because those are the letters surrounding their environment as well, which is also impacting the individual. So when I work with people, it's to understand them at a deeper level. The more that I'm around someone, like with Will, for example, the more that I'm around someone, the more I'm able to give advice, because I see things, I see patterns, I see things show up. And then when I understand all of the circle of what's around them, I really can hone in and support them on a really deep level. So I really like to know somebody and know what, because I don't know how their family's writing and what, for example, if someone was to talk with me, they wouldn't know what my grandma's writing like, you know, so I can only look at their handwriting and then do a really good estimate based on what their family name history and all of that stuff are. But yeah, so meeting with somebody and then having them start, I thought January 1st would be cool, because that's the best way to have the new year, start off 2021 with a bang and say, hey, we're going to take this through, the first 90 days into 2021. It's going to be amazing. We do have people already right now that are individually in the program. I just thought it'd be really cool to see what we can do with a group and see how big we can get the group and have all of you guys doing it together at the same time, and how far that would amplify everybody.
Sounds exciting.
Yeah, I thought so too. And you guys would be the NLP practitioners that, are taking it and combining it with the handwriting and then taking it to a whole new level.
Awesome. Ellie, Susan, any comments, questions?
Hi. Hi, Misty. I
Hi,
spoke
Susan.
with
Good
you
to see you.
last week. Yeah. I'm just going to share here with the group, because I don't think I got to share the whole thing. But when Misty was talking the first time, it reminded me that many years ago, I was working on my prosperity. We were looking at moving, and one of the things that I did that I forgot about, and this was like a really basic handwriting analysis, or graphology class, and just learned some really basic things on a few letters. And so I took that and I was using that, and that was to increase our income and things like this. We ended up getting a house that was like 5 times our current mortgage. But the cool thing is everything came together for that. It was really amazing. It was just money from different places that had just really come up and been available, and then to find out the house had a tenant. And it was something I did a few other things, but this was something that I forgot about. And I probably was using this for a while, because like I said, it was just kind of a basic, more of a kind of a hobby class in a way to take. And so I just took those items and used them. And so I realized, like, oh, that was an important part of the process, was the writing and paying attention to how I was writing in some basic ways without any further coaching other than what I had garnered during that, I don't know, week or 2 class. So that's my 2 cents.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. And let's see, we're at 37 minutes into the hour. Misty, do you have anything else you'd like to share before we close the call and send this recording to our other fellow master practitioners?
Yeah, I just want to say that, as Will had said, based on what I had shared with him, that when you write, it activates 85 to 90% of brain cells in your mind. And when you speak, it's 15 to 20%. So knowing those numbers, it's really important to write, as well as, I'm not sure if you guys are Abraham Hicks fans or not, but Abraham has spoken a lot about how writing is the strongest point of focus in your life. No matter what you do, when you handwrite, it takes time, right? You have to sit there with a pen and concentration, as well as, Buddhist monks back in the day, you meditate, and they meditate for a reason. Well, when you're meditating and you're putting, there's a reason why they have certain fingers together. And when you write, you're doing it's a meditative state. When you're writing, when you're holding a pen, you're doing that same thing. There's a lot of science and research. I'm working with a gentleman right now who is connected with a gentleman who can do brain scans. And so we're looking at hopefully finding an individual that can get hooked up to that brain scan in that area and monitor their brain before they start working with me, and then have pictures of it all during the process, all the way to completion. And I don't know how long it's going to take to get that, but that's in the works, and we're getting ready to speak with that individual and what that's all going to take and look like. So that's something that we'll be able to give people physical proof, saying, here, look at this person's brain before and look at it after, so then there's more evidence to show what's physically happening when you're writing and when you're taking my program. The other thing I want to say is, because one of the things Will said when I first spoke with him is, he's like, is this penmanship? And I said, no, it has nothing to do with penmanship. And he wasn't quite understanding on our first conversation. And when I explained to him that each letter, when it's written in a specific way, it can either propel you forward or hold you back. And the way that we were taught in grade school was 80% limiting. So everybody that I speak to, if they are still writing the way that they were taught in grade school, more than likely it's holding them back, and it's making it harder to succeed. Not that it can't happen. I just like to give the analogy of going upstream versus downstream. If you're going upstream in a river, it's obviously a lot harder. If you go downstream, it's a lot easier. And so when you get your handwriting in alignment, it allows you to get into alignment more with who you are, and more connected on a spiritual level deep inside, and get connected to where the inside matches the outside. And once you get that inner connection and you're in alignment, you're 10 times more powerful as an individual.
Wow, powerful.
So,
And regarding doing the brain scans, once you have figured out with that professional what the scans are, anyone can go to any lab near their home and say, I need this type of scan, and do it. Because there are a lot of labs in the US. And
okay.
it's,
Yeah, that's what I'm looking into, and I'm wanting to find somebody to do that and to monitor them, and to have that that evidence to show, here's a picture, because some people are more educated, and they're more up to doing something when they can see it physically. But there are certain people that will gravitate towards it because they know the energy, they know what truth feels like. And I've shared with people that your soul already knows this information. There is no accident that people are guided to certain names for their children or for their pets. And I've heard many stories, but one of the stories that I like to share with people is, when I was 12, we got a dog, and I was so adamant I had to have the name Max. And I didn't know why. I was just drawn to the name Max. His name had to be Max. I wouldn't budge. I begged and pleaded with my mom, please, can his name be Max? And now that I know what I know as an adult, looking back, that M name, it was an energy that I would then work with and take on. And that M was supporting me with my biggest challenge. Because the first letter of your first name is your biggest challenge in life. The first letter of your last name is your life path. And when you understand the first letter of your first name is your biggest challenge in life, it's an energy exchange that you did with your parent. And you did that energy exchange. You took on their limiting of where they were working with that energy as well. So for me to have the dog named Max, we had him for 15 years. I then worked with the M energy and that pattern that then helped me with my biggest challenge in life, because my name starts with an M. So not knowing that back then, it's our soul already knows this wisdom and this information. I'm just consciously making you aware of it on a conscious level now.
Amazing. Wow, lots of great info here. Pearl, anything else you'd like to add?
Ellie, I saw you pop on. Did you have any questions or anything?
So how many people are we trying to get? Are we trying to get as many as we can?
Yep.
Is that okay?
Within our master prac group specifically. We haven't really talked about expanding it outside the master prac group.
And have we talked about pricing so that way we can present it to them? Because I really think this is a great idea, by the way. It's pretty awesome to add on to NLP, you know. It's really good.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, so the answer is yes. And Will wants to kind of like give us the best deal by seeing how many people can commit. And then when we tell them, look, we feel like this is the best number of people that can commit, then he'll give us a final price. And the more people, the cheaper it will be individually.
But just to give like a frame of reference, it'll be probably anywhere from like 500 to 1,000 for the 90 days. So depending on how many people, it'll be closer to 500.
And then you'll have weekly calls on top of that.
What's that?
Then there's going to be weekly group calls with that included. And then I've got a master series that is 5,000 for those that are interested after doing this, but we were going to give that at a discount too for a group that's interested.
So Misty, for that master group that you just spoke about, is that to be able to utilize it for others or for ourselves?
So you would get to learn it on a much deeper level. So the 90 days is specifically focused in one area, whether you want to focus on attracting more money, better health, you know, whatever your area of focus is, it's going to be a laser focus in one specific direction. If you go into the master series, it's the whole entire thing. It's going to be learning handwriting analysis, handwriting graphology. I've got weekly calls, group calls for that as well. I've got a private Facebook group where all my clients are already doing this and all of their stories and getting connected with all of them because they're all in alignment. The more that you do the handwriting, the more in alignment you become. And clear away. A lot of it is what I've shared with people is the emotional work that it takes to go through the program because you're shifting and you're dealing with your entire past and you're recreating yourself newly. And self-image, I'm not sure if you guys have studied Maxwell Maltz or Bob Proctor, but self-image is the core route to shifting a person's individual perception of themselves. And this handwriting program that I offer is mirroring the best self-image traits possible with every individual letter. So it really is a quantum leap that happens with people when they really take this on.
Wonderful.
And so just to be clear, the 90-day program is where we focus on one thing, whether it's kind of like the breakthrough session where we pick a category of life, right? And then the master series is learning everything. Would that be with the intention to be able to like teach it or be able to guide somebody to some degree, like, you know, for our breakthrough session clients, for instance, like what would we be able to do having taken the master series?
Yeah, the master series is for you to become a master in it, for you to learn everything from handwriting analysis to handwriting graphology to you get a client and you don't even know that client and you see their signature and you know the letters in their name. You know a lot about that individual before you even say hello. That is a big important key. And I've worked with people for a long time. As Will was saying, he's sending me things about people and I don't even know them. I have no idea what they even look like or anything, and they're just sending me their signature and they're going, this lady doesn't even know me. How does she know blah, 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 blah. And it's because I'm reading what's there. So I want you guys to become masters in that as well. And you're going to learn that in the Mastery series, which makes you 10 times more powerful as a coach and as a mentor and as an NLP practitioner for where you're taking your business and what you're doing with it.
And at what point can we give the clients that hire us the breakthrough sessions for them? At what point can we give assignments where they can use graphology to aid the transformation that we guided them through so that transformation sticks? At what point can we give them an assignment? Is that deeper than the master program?
We're going to be looking into that. So right now I've got the master program as graphology, and I'm going to be bringing handwriting analysis into it and going to be expanding on it. So since I've met Will, he's got a lot of ideas that we're bringing things together, and then we're going to be having a lot of videos that are being created. So over the next 60 days, we're everything that I've shared with him, he goes, well, is that in the program? Is that in the program? Is that in the program? And so everything that I've shared with him, we're now putting in the program. I've got a phenomenal program already, and he's pulling things out of me that I am seeing now in a new way to then add to the program. So it's being expanded on with what's already there and taking it to the next level. So it is going to be a 6-month program so that people can, because there's a lot that happens, and I've had some people say, I need to take a break. There's a lot of emotions that are coming up and a lot of stuff that people have to deal with. I don't know what's in each individual's past and what's happening with them while they're shifting. I'm there to guide you and to support you in having weekly calls and there to answer questions. And then you are the observer of your experience. And I have my book, for those of you that don't know, I wrote a book, You Can Heal Your Life with Handwriting. And it was an Amazon #1 bestseller back in September. And I've shared in that book, one of the quotes that I've come up with is our hearts have to learn how to operate the video games of our minds. So basically you become the observer. You are not your thoughts. And you guys know this with NLP, I'm sure, but you become the observer of what's going on in your mindset, realizing you are not what's going on. You are the observer of it, and then deciding what you want to participate in or not, and then dismiss thoughts that you don't much care for or that you don't want to participate in. So there's a lot that's happening, and I want everyone to be masters and know it to the level that I do. And everything that I put in there, I thought was great. And then the rest of it, I was adding on my weekly calls. I do a PowerPoint presentation every single week. And during those group calls, everybody comes on and then I continue to educate. Well, what Will's saying is, no, put all that in the program too. And then I said, okay, well, I thought I was being helpful with coaching. And so anyways, I'm learning, I'm growing too as a teacher, and I'm forever a student. And so I'm just a guide that is able to support you in the 10 years of experience that I already have. And I myself am still learning.
Sure. Thank you.
Will is helping.
Yes, it's lots of growth all around for all of us. And so Misty, back to my question on at what point are we allowed as we learn the program, are we allowed to use that with our clients? Yes or no?
Yeah, that I'm gonna have to speak with Will because we were talking about making you guys certified in it. So I will be able to give clarity of an answer to that once I have that conversation with him, because we are expanding on the program to have you guys certified. So.
And that's something that I also saw and something that I brought up with Will, the first call I had with him on this subject, that I could not think or imagine a better group of people than master practitioners to be the ones getting certified to use this tool.
Yeah.
So yes, I totally agree with you on that. Please speak with him with that, and we can get a conversation going on that as well, and create some type of certification program that is a win-win-win all around. And the Master Prac family, we spent 14 days together, group of 80 people, and we know a lot about the baggage that we released. We helped each other release. So we're family. So you have a group here that is a group of people that is family. Even though we met about a month ago, and we are on a path to not only empowering ourselves and as well as empowering others. So what I saw is the opportunity to co-create magic with us, to co-create something so beautiful, because we have what it takes. We have the commitment. We were for 14 days, in a hotel room, a conference room, working hard to release our mental and emotional baggage. And so it's a very community group of people. And oh yeah, that's how thick the binder is.
14 days of a 1.5 inch, or no, this looks like 2 inches thick binder.
Wow.
Every page.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's perfect. I was telling Pearl, I said how much fun that would be to combine NLP, because I've heard a lot about it. I've never been trained in it. However, I've heard a lot about it, and I love the idea of learning NLP. And I said, when you combine NLP with the certification of graphology, you guys will become unstoppable.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And yes, and it's so let's start closing the call. I think there's synergy that we can manifest amazing things, and the intention is already set for synergy to occur. And I'm sure something very good is going to happen. And thank you for your time, Misty, Pearl, Susan,
welcome.
Emily, and Ophir already left, and Will already left. And thank you everyone for showing up. I'm going to share this recording as soon as Zoom sends me the link. It's 5:55 here. Make a wish.
I wish for everybody to sign up, because it'll be fun.
Yes,
It will be
indeed.
fun. I'm stoked. I'm like, January 1st seems like too far away to begin. But I'll be eager with my journal and my pen ready to go.
Awesome.
Yeah, so
Cool.
it seems like
Looking forward
we'll
to
do
it.
the 90-day program and then transition into masters, and it seems like we would be putting our clients through a 90-day program. Kind of seems like that's like what the flow would be like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank
Good
you,
night,
everybody.
everyone.
Good
Much
night.
love.
Good night.
Have a good
Thank
night.
you.
Bye.
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 Bye.